As we all know, Jay-Z has been very good friends with Diddy, but new information has been revealed and it's straight up shocking. Now, Jay-Z was just accused of mistreating and taking advantage of a girl in the year 2000 with Diddy. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said the incident happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards after party. Now, the federal lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Diddy as a defendant. What we knew at the time was that at the after party, the victim was mistreated by Diddy, while another male celebrity and female celebrity, neither of whom were named in the lawsuit, watched until she was able to escape. Now, this case was refiled on Sunday, December 8th, and it included Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, in it. It turns out that he was the male celebrity described in the suit. Texas-based attorney Tony Busby filed the suit, and originally this was from the beginning of October, when Tony said he was representing 120 accusers with allegations against Diddy that go back more than 20 years. The lawyer said even more than 3,000 individuals have come forward to his office with accusations against Diddy, and that he planned to begin filing lawsuits in various states within the next 30 days, adding that the victims span across 25 different states and were all different ages. Now, Tony has filed many different lawsuits only naming Diddy, and this was the first time another high-profile celebrity was named, and that's Jay-Z. The lawsuit says that a friend dropped off the victim at the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall. Now, she did not have a ticket, and she approached various limousine drivers to try to gain access to the show or an after party. One driver, the lawsuit says, told her that he worked for Combs and that she'd fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to a party after the show and told her to return to his car later in the evening after he transported Diddy and Jay-Z, the lawsuit says. Now later, the driver picked her up, and after 20 minutes they arrived at a white house with a U-shaped driveway, the suit says. She had to sign a document which she believed was a non-disclosure agreement on arrival, and she did not receive a copy to enter the party, which the suit says was filled with celebrities. Now, she was also offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down. And then she went into a room to rest. Now, shortly afterwards, the suit says Diddy and Jay-Z entered the room, with Diddy saying, "You are ready to party." That's when she alleges she was taken advantage of by both men, while an unnamed female celebrity watched. After the alleged incident, the suit says she grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to a gas station where she called her father, it says. Now, the accuser is seeking unspecified damages, and all I gotta say is all of that is just absolutely disgusting. According to the lawsuit, her attorneys reached out to Jay-Z to request a mediation to resolve this matter. Upon present information and belief, Jay-Z responded to said letter by not only filing an utterly frivolous lawsuit, but also orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against plaintiffs' lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence plaintiff from naming Jay-Z herein. This effort was meant to scare the plaintiff and to discredit her counsel. That effort failed. Indeed, plaintiff chose to file the amendment as a result of the egregious conduct perpetuated by Carter, according to the lawsuit. Now, in response to CNN, Jay-Z called the mediation request a blackmail attempt. He also said this lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. Now, in a statement from Tony Busby on Saturday, he wrote, "The pleading speaks for itself. This is a very serious matter that will be litigated in court." In response to this, Jay-Z posted a lengthy statement about this accusation, and he claimed that Tony was engaged in unprofessional behavior. "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime should be locked away. Would you not agree? Would you not agree?" Jay-Z said in a statement to NBC News. "These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. You've made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor." Now, as mentioned before, the lawsuit was refiled, and it's been claimed that Jay-Z received a letter from the plaintiff's counsel requesting a mediation to resolve this matter, Tom wrote in the suit. Now, in response to the letter, which NBC News has seen, Jay-Z filed his own lawsuit against the accuser's attorneys, Tony wrote in the suit. Tony then denied the extortion claims against Jay-Z in an Instagram post in which he wrote that his firm won't allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence survivors, and in a statement to CNN, "If you were trying to hide your identity and claim you did nothing wrong, doesn't seem very smart to take this approach," he told CNN in an email at the time. "We will address it in due course. I have confidence that with full public disclosure, all of this will sort itself out." Now on Sunday, Tony responded on social media to Jay-Z's statement, saying that the alleged victim never demanded a penny from him, claiming they only sought confidential mediation. He added, "She's emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve." While this is the first time that Jay-Z has been officially named in a suit, many people online claim that he had something to do with all of this Diddy stuff, as the pair were very close. Musical artist Jaguar Wright has spoken out calling both Diddy and Jay-Z monsters. She did an interview with Piers Morgan and made her feelings clear about the two stars. She asked Jay-Z to speak out about the arrests, but she also added that there were thousands of victims in total when Piers asked how many there could be. Wright then mentioned Beyonce, saying she was supposedly involved in the unfair incidents that transpired over time. She went on to say that she had spoken with hundreds of victims whom she continues to assist. She said she even had 3 victims who were willing to testify about what Jay-Z did to them, as well as what he did to his wife. Well, that's what she said, and now it turns out that she might have been telling the truth. Now at the time, everyone was calling her crazy, but I'm not too sure now. Now Beyonce and Jay-Z made an appearance at Diddy's 50th birthday party in 2019. They were photographed alongside other stars like the Kardashians, Leonardo DiCaprio, Paris Hilton, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Hart, Nelly, and Mary J. Blige. Now these celebs have also been spotted at other Diddy parties, including his white parties where everyone would show up wearing white. Now Beyonce and Jay-Z also attended one of Diddy's New Year's Eve parties. The couple spent time with Diddy ringing in the new year of 2014 in Miami. Now the weird thing is there are articles about them being there, but all the photos have disappeared. Strange, right? Well, in an article it said that Jay-Z and Beyonce were off in a corner dancing and greeting people, and an insider said Drake came with a posse of friends and took over the turntables, and T.I. and Jamie Foxx were chatting and hanging out during the event. Pharrell Williams was also in attendance, the source adds. But it was also reported that Beyonce wasn't wearing any pants, and some people say she was later seen in the swimming pool looking dazed and confused. Now it's just strange all around, but it has me thinking, is Beyonce also a victim? I guess only time will tell. With Jay-Z being announced as the first big celebrity involved in Diddy's crimes, that begs the question of if other celebrities are about to be revealed as well. All I'm saying is make sure none of your fave celebrities were ever associated with Diddy, cause if so, they might turn out to be monsters. Now, in a statement, legal representatives for Diddy called these suits shameless publicity stunts designed to extract payments from celebrities who fear having lies spread about them, just as lies have been spread about Mr. Combs. As his legal team said before, Mr. Combs has full confidence in the facts and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail. More Diddy party photos have leaked, and there's ones that include model Kate Moss, but there's some suspicious objects in these pics. So the photos are from top talent agent Paul Rowland's 40th birthday party in New York City in 1999. Kate Moss is seen partying with Diddy, and he's seen grabbing her neck in an image taken at Victor's Cafe, a Cuban restaurant and nightclub in Midtown Manhattan. Now, in this photo, it appears that Diddy is holding some sort of substance. It's been said that he used substances to control his victims, so was Kate one of them? Now, at the time, in the 1999 photo, Kate had just broken up with actor Johnny Depp. At the time, during her partying lifestyle, she was known to indulge in substances that she probably shouldn't have. Now, Kate has since said that she's given up partying for a healthy lifestyle. Kate has previously made light of her hard partying days, where she was a tabloid favorite for years and was often photographed with celebrities such as Diddy. Now, it's important to note that Kate might have not known that Diddy was committing these terrible crimes, but it has people worried that she was one of his potential victims. I mean, she fit all of his requirements for girls that were allowed to attend his parties, so what was to stop him? You see, a former party planner who worked with Diddy during 2004 and 2005 2005, spoke to some news outlets about the disgraced musicians' parties. They stated that women attending these parties were subjected to weight check-ins. We would do a weigh-in if necessary. The girls also had to be young and hot, so I always had a scale nearby in case I needed to make sure. The number was 140 pounds, but if a girl is really tall, there was a little bit of discretion involved, said the planner, adding that other requirements included no flab, no cellulite, not overly pierced or tattooed, no short hair. It said that women were to wear short dresses with high stilettos being non-negotiable. No pants, no jeans, no flat shoes. Every girl had to wear a party dress, preferably very short, just enough to cover her butt cheeks but no longer than mid-thigh, they said. Cleavage showing, and every single one of them had to be wearing stilettos. That one, there was no exception. High stilettos, the New York Post quoted the planner as saying. Now, this pretty much fits Kate's description, but it seems like Diddy and Kate hung out more than just once. In recent years before his arrest, Diddy claimed he spent surreal nights with Kate in Paris. Sometimes I'll be in the studio until 3 a.m. or I'll be out in Paris at the fashion shows and just hanging out until the morning with Naomi Campbell and Kate Moss. Those times are always surreal, he told Into the Gloss in 2015. I remember a time I just done a photo shoot for Vogue, and afterwards Kate, Naomi, and I just went out and did something a little touristy and cliche. We went and had champagne at the Eiffel Tower, someone had brought music, and we had a little party up there, just the three of us. So, was Kate just there to party, or did she partake in the crimes, or was she even just a victim in all of this? I guess we'll just have to wait and see if she speaks up, but there's a chance that she won't, as Diddy most likely made her sign an NDA. Now, Diddy's NDAs are actually crazy. Now, a document was released which showed that guests were issued strict rules on discussing Diddy, his associates, and any activities or individuals who were present at his events. The NDA reportedly forbade guests from sharing any information about Diddy, his family members, current or former partners, or friends. Now, under the agreement, attendees were restricted from taking photographs, filming, or recording anything at these events without his written consent. This restriction also extended to posting on social media, with the NDA listing specific platforms where guests were prohibited from sharing unauthorized content. Now, this agreement goes further, barring attendees from conducting interviews, writing books, or speaking about any details about the parties or Diddy's private life without prior written consent. Now, the craziest thing about this is that this is enforceable for either 70 years or the artist's lifetime plus an additional 20 years, whichever is longer. Now, this is a duration far exceeding standard NDAs, and it makes me think that he knew that he was trying to hide something. I mean, not everyone at his parties had access to everything. A celebrity photographer who attended numerous Diddy parties has revealed that certain rooms were strictly off limits. Selma Fonseca, who attended 20 to 30 Diddy parties throughout her career, has shared that only certain special celebrity guests were privy to what was going on in these exclusive rooms during the rapper's wild parties. He'd walk around, say hello to everyone, you know what I mean. He was always out and about and doing something, talking on the mic and at the DJ booth, she recalled. There was no VIP area that was closed off. It was like everybody was a VIP in East Hampton. However, a handful of rooms were off limits to most guests unless they were personally invited, she said. He had some people go inside the living room, and he also had the bedroom upstairs on the balcony. So people would go inside, but not everyone was allowed inside, she explained. Selma, who said she never went inside because she was never invited, said she wasn't entirely sure what went on inside at the time. According to former music industry insider Tom Swoop, he had been to parties and posted about it on his YouTube channel. He broke down how the parties worked for the viewers, and he claimed that the parties were separated into tiers of access. There was the general admission, then a series of tiers ending with entrance into the inner circle, where the so-called real partying went on. This allegedly included humiliating male and female guests on the promise of record deals or money. Tom claimed that Diddy told him, "I can make anybody do you anything because this is the life they want and I got the keys to the castle. Now, Tom didn't like anything that was going on, so he left the party thinking, if this is what goes on behind the curtain and you're all comfortable with this, nah, I don't want this life, he said. He added there were so many celebrities there who were cool with who he was and what he did to entertain them. It's not isolated. He added you all need to think of everybody when you think of him and the access and the amount of people who were there. Now this is really believable because multiple sources have come forward. What happened before 2 a.m. pales in comparison to what happened at 5 a.m., said a source. Now a second source who wrangled guests for Diddy's white parties between 2006 and 2011 similarly told Us Weekly that high-profile celebs would leave around 2 or 3 a.m. because they knew the party was going to take a turn. Girls would start to lose their clothes, that was the signal for people to leave, explains the source, adding that's when the substances would come out, with benders lasting until 7 a.m. Now the New York Post reported that these parties often concealed freak-off sessions that devolved into explicit encounters after the main events. Diddy is now behind bars though, and has been since September. His trial is set for May 5th, 2025, but since his arrest, more and more lawsuits have been brought against him. I mean, who really knows how many crimes this man has committed? But it's all just disgusting. Now, in November, he was denied bail for the third time by a judge in New York City. 2 judges previously denied his release from custody, primarily due to concerns about potential witness tampering, deeming it a significant risk if he was freed before trial. In a recent court filing, prosecutors accused the rap mogul of misusing jail communications to influence witnesses in his case and coercing others in his orbit to post online in order to sway public opinion and benefit his defense. But defense attorneys for Diddy said he should be released so he has adequate time to prepare for his trial next year. But I think these judges made the right call though, it's better that he's in jail. So with Diddy's trial being 5 months away, who knows what other information we'll learn about him and other celebrities who were involved in his crime ring. Ashton Kutcher is somehow involved with the Diddy scandal happening right now. The two used to be really good friends, and Ashton has spoken about their friendship and going to Diddy parties fondly. And now we have proof of it. I mean, here's a photo of him at one of Diddy's infamous white parties from 2009. There's also footage of the star on a swing over a pool, just swinging away, seeming to have a good time. We do know though that Ashton has been to more parties than that, especially in the early 2000s when he and Diddy became quick friends. On an episode of Hot Ones, Ashton opened up about his relationship with Diddy. He said that the rapper forbade him from targeting him on Punk'd, as in the early 2000s Ashton played ruthless practical jokes on his celebrity friends and set up cameras to film their reactions. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, everybody's on the table, Ashton recalled telling Diddy. He's like, no, not me, I'm off the table. So that started our conversation. Now Ashton said they became fast friends, adding that they used to hang out and watch football together. The host Sean then asked him if he had any favorite Diddy party stories, and well, Ashton's reaction is now raising some eyebrows. Diddy party stories, man, that was some weird memory lane thing. Now that is just a really weird thing to say. I mean, what was so bad about the memories that he did think of? Did they consist of Diddy or even Ashton himself committing crimes? Looking back at this interview now with everything we know is honestly concerning. Now fans have been flooding the comment section reacting to his comments. As one fan said, he's probably not laughing now. Another said, you can tell the flashbacks are worrisome from the way he sighs, while another chimed in, he was traumatized. It seems like some people can't decide if Ashton was a part of the mistreatment happening at those parties or if he was a victim to all of it. Now, the two of them remained close and started going out to clubs together until around 2003. Diddy wrote about his friend Ashton and explained why their party days were coming to an end in a 2010 Time article. The rapper claims that the end of things was caused by Ashton's committed relationship with actress Demi Moore. One night he was with Demi, possibly for the first time, and a few weeks later he called him to tell him he was in love. Combs wrote, "With Jamie Foxx, we were a rat pack, hanging out, going to clubs, but their clubbing ended there," the rapper clarified. But after being together for 8 years, Ashton and Demi finally split up in 2011. Diddy clarified though that the two of them stayed close despite their disagreements, even though Ashton chose to give up on parties. Though we did see that he attended one white party with Demi, but that seems to be it. Now, Ashton pretty much confirmed this in a joint interview he did with Diddy on The Late Late Show with James Corden. Ashton said, "If you're a single man, there's probably no greater human being in the world to hang out with. This is 20 years ago, 19 years ago, we were having a lot of fun together." Now, after Ashton and Demi got divorced, it appears that Ashton didn't go back to the Diddy lifestyle. I mean, Diddy's 50th birthday that took place in 2019 was the biggest star-studded event, but Ashton and his then-wife Mila Kunis were not in attendance. So maybe it's safe to say that the two really did drift apart and were not in contact. One thing is clear though is that they used to be really close, and at that time, who knows what those two were doing, and that has raised some suspicion. Last week, Ashton was finally spotted in public since all of the Diddy stuff and his connection to the case has come out. He was seen cruising the streets of Los Angeles, he was driving solo and seemed to be pretty somber. Now, Ashton nor his wife Mila have come out and made a direct statement about Diddy and his crimes. But it is said that Ashton himself is worried about what could happen with this whole Diddy situation. An insider source revealed to Daily Mail that Ashton absolutely regrets his friendship with Diddy, considering what has happened. He feels lied to, betrayed, taken for granted, and manipulated. They continued by saying everyone who is close to Diddy fears the possibility of Diddy making up false allegations to clear his own name. Although Ashton is frightened by the prospect of being involved in the case, he's also prepared to completely cooperate with the authorities because he has nothing to hide, they said. But I don't know, he seems so worried about everything, and I'm not sure an innocent person would act that way. Personally, I just want to know what he's hiding. Now, what's really going on with Diddy? Well, in November last year, he was handed a lawsuit by his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura for mistreating her. They settled out of court the next day, and Diddy proclaimed his innocence. Almost a year later though, video footage of an incident Cassie was talking about at a hotel, and Diddy denied, was leaked. Now, it made Diddy look really bad and people became disgusted with him. Cassie then gained more support over this and people started to believe her as a victim. The footage was sent to CNN, but no one knows where it came from, as Diddy allegedly bribed the hotel to delete the footage. Now, Diddy was in jail for other reasons when the video was released, and his lawyers put out a statement about it. They said the videotape was leaked to CNN for one reason alone: to mortally wound the reputation and the prospect of Sean Combs successfully defending himself against these allegations, the lawyers Mark Anifilo and Tenny Garagos wrote. In an email that was sent to the defense that was submitted to the court, one of the prosecutors, Emily A. Johnson, denied that the government was behind the leak, writing that the government possessed no surveillance video at all from the Intercontinental prior to CNN's public broadcast. She wrote that any accusations of the government leak lacked a good faith basis. And yeah, I gotta say, this accusation seems far-fetched. Now, the next big thing that happened to Diddy was that his two homes were raided by the FBI in March. They were obviously building a case against the star for whatever charges they had, but Diddy denied any wrongdoing. Diddy was then handed another lawsuit by producer Rodney Jones, where Rodney accused Diddy of mistreating him and making him a witness to various crimes. Now, more lawsuits continued, and on September 26, 2024, Diddy was arrested. A 14-page indictment against him included dozens of disturbing allegations about Diddy, including claims that he orchestrated and filmed freak-off parties. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him, and he put together multiple bail packages, but the judge denied all of them, so he'll be staying in jail for the time being. Now, Diddy intends to testify during his trial, which has been set for May 5th, 2025. But that's not all though, as at the beginning of October at a news conference, Texas-based attorney Tony Busby said that he is representing 120 accusers with allegations against the entertainment mogul that date back more than 20 years. The lawyer said more than 3,000 individuals have come forward to his office with accusations against Diddy, and that he plans to begin filing lawsuits in various states within the next 30 days. Now, these victims span across 25 different states and are all different ages.
Ellen DeGeneres frequently frequently interviewed Puff Daddy on her daytime talk show, and in 2018, she revealed that they had occasionally partied together. So during one interview, after he arrived late to a taping, Ellen jokingly asked if he planned to be late to an upcoming party she was hosting. He said, "Yeah, I am. No, I have to arrive fashionably late." Granted, Ellen did beg him not to arrive too late, adding, "Cause once you get there, the party really starts." And Puffy told Ellen, "I got you. I promise you. I'm not gonna let you down on this big one. For real." Now, in another interview on The Ellen Show, because he appeared a couple of times, he was asked by the comedian, "What time do you stay up till?" Now, he answered the question with no hesitation, saying that he would stay up until 6 a.m. and then wake up around 11 a.m. Now, Ellen had further questions. She's like, "What are you doing that has you staying up that late?" She couldn't imagine him staying up until 6 a.m. just to party, and he responded, "I mean, I make love a lot. I told you when I came on the show I was going to be completely honest and expose myself to the world." Now, Ellen jokingly called it her favorite answer ever, but there's just so much there that I want to unpack. Sir, were you actually being completely honest? And I have questions. So over the years, Puffy went by many a moniker, but Ellen's bizarre nickname for him left a lot of folks questioning her relationship, for lack of a better word, with the rapper. What was their friendship? So the controversial comedian once referred to him with a strange moniker on his birthday, and I think this was back in 2016. It was like a little Twitter post. It was really cute. So in the shout out, she referred to him by all the conventional names people know him by, before adding her own special nickname. She said, and I quote, "Happy birthday, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean, or as I call him, Cuddle McSnuggle Stuff." Now, I have questions. And her next remark was, "You don't need to know why." And it made it all the more unsettling. Sure, at the time it seemed like an inside joke between the two, but with the context that we know now, I have a lot of opinions. So a lot of folks on social media have expressed their concern over this crazy dynamic duo in the light of the recent arrests and everything else and the things I can't talk about. One individual alleged that the comedian was one of the many A-listers who attended these freak-offs, saying Ellen DeGeneres knows all too well about certain parties. Somebody else said, "McSnuggle Stuff? Those parties must have been insane to get a name like that." And folks, if you've seen those photos of everybody on the beds in the white, you'll know. A third user commented, Ellen, now the layers start peeling back, don't they? Back in 2016, when you called him Cuddle McSnuggle Stuff, it seemed like just another one of your quirky offhand names, didn't it? But here in 2024, with everything that's come to light, it raises eyebrows." And somebody else said, and I share this opinion, "What a strange thing to say." Once again, folks, I'm going to remind you of those photos of the white parties and the beds. Look, I know Ellen and Puffy had a publicly friendly friendship for many years. He made many appearances on The Ellen Show. But following that arrest on charges of heinous crimes that I can't talk about, the nature of their association is under fresh scrutiny. And there's some theories floating around online that I'd like to bring up. The sudden passing of Twitch, Ellen's former DJ, and actress Anne Heche, Ellen's ex-girlfriend, have fueled a lot of online speculation. Both situations were officially ruled incidents. But there are folks online, not me, but there's folks online that believe there's more to the story. There are rumors surrounding all four of these folks, and it points to a larger issue that could be within Hollywood, the potential for powerful figures to silence those who might expose wrongdoing. Now, Ellen herself faced accusations of fostering a toxic work environment on her show, and then Puffy, let's just say the rumors swirling around him weren't exactly brand new this year. And the public is demanding answers about the lives lost and the nature of the connection between Ellen and Puffy. These events bring to light the potential dangers of a culture of secrecy and the difficulty of holding powerful figures accountable. And while no evidence supports these crazy theories, the ongoing speculation serves as a stark reminder of the enduring fascination with celebrity lives and the constant search for hidden truths within Hollywood. So apart from Ellen, many other A-listers have seen their relationship with Puffy being placed in the spotlight. I gotta say, the rapper is currently in detention at a facility in New York, waiting for his trial that's not till May. So going back to the A-listers, a lot of folks were at these Puffy parties, these white parties. Now we don't know, without a doubt, who was at the freak-offs because a lot of people had to sign NDAs, but we need to talk about these parties. There's an old video of people raving about them that has hit the internet. It had Nicole Richie, it had Fat Joe, Derek Jeter, all these regular guests at the exclusive soirees. There's an invite video also swirling around online, that's something. In one clip there's a young Derek talking about Puffy hosting a party on a jet that flew around the world for days. The former professional baseball player said, "It started on a Tuesday, somehow ended on the previous Sunday, I don't know how we did it." Also in the video, Fat Joe spun a wild narrative about the parties seem to blend into one another with no clear beginning or end. He shared, "It's hard to say which is more off the hook. A party, an after party, or an after party, which is basically a pre-party for the next party." And then Nicole Richie joked in the video about the parties, saying, "Now that I'm engaged, I've decided to slow down a little. 3 parties a week, maybe 4. Like, girl." There was a resurfaced video of Khloe Kardashian on Keeping Up with the Kardashians saying that she did attend one of the parties. She also had Puffy on her Cocktails with Khloe show. She complimented him, she praised him, she's posted how many Insta photos with him. There's another resurfaced video featuring Ashton Kutcher admitting to have attended these soirees. He called them weird. Now, this friendship is a weird one and an old one. These guys were so close in the mid-2000s that they were saying they were the new Rat Pack. It was them and Jamie Foxx. In a 2019 Hot Ones interview, Ashton said, "Yeah, I've got a lot I can't tell," when asked about the friendship. Now, he could be forced to speak up soon, because apparently he's expecting a subpoena about all the wrongdoing. And yes, Puffy has argued his innocence by pleading not guilty, but rumors have it that Ashton is worried about potential betrayal. Once again, folks, these two guys have been constantly praising each other over the last 20 years. There's a lot of photos of them partying together. Like, there's some stories there, and people want to know. Superstar basketballer LeBron James also once raved about these parties. There was a live stream once where he said, "Ain't no party like a party." And sure, while all these revelations have only raised eyebrows about how much these A-listers knew about the crimes, we do have to say none of them were named in the indictment. Other stars have been very quick to point out that they have no affiliation with Puffy, or they've cut ties with the rapper, as headline after headline after headline after headline hits the news. I feel like we get new news every day. Singer Pink recently debunked some claims that she deleted her Twitter due to the controversies around this. She was like, "I don't know why it became a headline, but like I wiped my Twitter account back in February. There's no truth to these rumors, and while I've met in passing, I'm not associated with anybody named." There was a source close to Oscar Award winner Leonardo DiCaprio that also slammed rumors linking him to Puffy, saying that at the time, like back in the early 2000s, he went to a couple of parties, but none of them were like freak-offs, saying, and I quote, "Leonardo DiCaprio has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. Everybody went to those parties. They weren't freak-offs, they were big house parties. Leo was at the start of his career. The parties were a way to make connections." Okay, Paris Hilton is another powerful person who seemed to give Puffy her stamp of approval by attending his lavish parties over the years. She's been captured at many soirees with him. There's one photo where they're super friendly. They're in their white outfits, so obviously it was a white party. You could see Paris wearing her like really cute name necklace. And as a survivor of wrongful harm and an advocate for people, it's weird that she's been very silent about the accusations against Puffy, even though she's posted in the past about having an epic time hanging out at his house.
Sean Diddy Combs has found himself in some serious legal trouble over the past year, but he isn't the only rapper slammed with lawsuits. Kanye West is in a similar boat right now. One of his suits actually includes Diddy, and the two men have been pictured many times together over the years, which doesn't benefit either of them today. As you likely know, Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with a series of lawsuits from past partners and others that accuse the rapper of acting without consent in various scenarios. But what you might not have heard of is that Kanye West, who has officially changed his name to Ye, is also facing similar suits. While he isn't facing as many as Diddy, that doesn't mean his alleged actions were better. Ye is being faced with lawsuits from past employees and others that allege that he also acted inappropriately towards them without consent. One of the lawsuits in particular does name Diddy. Ye's former assistant alleges that she experienced the wrongful actions from Ye throughout her employment, and even before she started working for him. However, she didn't know that had happened until years later. She had been invited to a studio session hosted by Ye and also Diddy. She claims the drink she received had some extra things in it she didn't want that ended up impairing her judgment, to the point when she woke up the next day she couldn't remember what had happened. While initially thinking that nothing untoward occurred, she learned years later that that evening went very different from her imagination. She claims that Ye made a comment that the pair had been intimate that night, a statement that led to her realization of what events actually occurred. That means that not only did Ye allegedly harm this person, he then also offered them a position that worked closely with him and then harmed them again years later. Of course, we can't say anything is 100% true right now, as this case is still ongoing, but for right now, it's not a good look. Especially when you consider how close Diddy and Ye were before the recent falling out. With both rappers accused of inappropriate behavior so close to each other, it's definitely raised some suspicions about what they
had gotten up to over the years. They had been photographed together at parties many times. One notable time was when a photo dropped of the pair posing with Prince Harry of all people. The prince was actually named in the major Diddy lawsuit, however, not as a suspect, but just as a name that Diddy would allegedly use to validate his status. So Prince Harry didn't do anything wrong. All he seemingly has done is pose with Diddy and Ye for a quick snap. The trio does seem out of place, but the photo comes from the after party for the Concert for Diana benefit that took place in 2007. Both Ye and Diddy performed, that's why all three men were in the same place at the same time. It's unclear if they ever really interacted with the prince again after that. We do know that Diddy and Ye remained close long after that photo was taken. Diddy even once said that seeing a Ye concert inspired him. In recent years, the relationship has deteriorated. The men actually had a very public falling out. Well, it wasn't public, but then Ye posted screenshots of their text to his Instagram, which definitely let that cat out of the bag. This was back in 2022. This year was one filled with Ye-related controversies. He was saying a lot of racially charged things and insensitive things and doing a lot of strange stuff. Diddy was supporting Ye, but then Ye wore a t-shirt that he really didn't agree with, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. At first, Diddy had said in an interview that Ye's shirt was tone deaf, prompting a text from Ye saying things like, "I didn't like our convo, I'm selling these tees, nobody comes between me and my money," finishing with, "Come do something illegal to me now, please." The two men proceeded to argue over text, with Diddy asking for a face-to-face meeting and to be sent an address. Ye said some rude things about certain demographics of people, accepted Diddy's apology in advance, and then the two haven't been close since, apparently. This came as a shock to the public after seeing the two men be so friendly over the years. Ye was even at Diddy's New Year's party that year. He was seen in photos and videos of the event. TMZ acquired a few videos from that night that feature Ye chatting with the crowds. Another video he's seen with a mic in his hand and enjoying the music. It's not until a few years later that both Diddy and Ye have found themselves in trouble with the law for very similar reasons. For Diddy, his parties are causing a lot of chatter. He was once the greatest party host in Hollywood. It was a status symbol to be on a Diddy guest list because his events were so extravagant. However, nowadays, having your name attached to a Diddy party is causing more of a headache or heartache than anything else. This is due to the lawsuits against the rapper, but also because the public found out about a particular type of party Diddy would throw called a freak-off. Freak-offs were essentially a party where a bunch of people would get together and engage with each other. Allegedly, Diddy would often film these freak-offs and then use the footage to encourage the participants to keep quiet. These events were allegedly not always consensual, which is why he needed that blackmail leverage. Rumors have been circulating about who was in attendance at those events. Some people believe that any celebrity that has ever been pictured with Diddy or at a Diddy party should be under investigation. The freak-offs were sometimes elaborately planned, hotels rented kind of events, but news sites report that they weren't always that way. An award show after party Diddy had hosted allegedly dissolved into a freak-off when the group changed locations. Being an award show after party first, though, that meant that many famous people were around. However, news publications report that by the time the evening became inappropriate, all the famous faces would have left. Ye shares a similar controversy to that. The former personal assistant we mentioned before claims that Ye also hosted his own multiple parties involved inappropriate events. She claimed that she was required to coordinate these events and provide Ye with any specifics he needed for it. Another lawsuit filed against the rapper in November of this year details an incident on a 2010 Ye music video set. A model, Jennifer Ann, alleges that Ye shoved his fingers in her mouth and put his hands on her in a manner to restrict her airflow. Ann claims that she felt as if she blacked out. At the time of that incident and throughout much of his relationship with Diddy, Ye was part of America's most famous reality TV family, the Kardashian Jenners, and many of them also frequented Diddy guest lists and seemed particularly close to the disgraced rapper. Kylie Jenner was even an ambassador for his platform Revolt TV. Her and her sisters were spotted attending Diddy's 50th birthday celebration in December of 2019. Kim Kardashian has been photographed attending Diddy events even back before she was an international star that she is today. Kim famously started her Hollywood journey as a personal assistant to socialite Paris Hilton. The pair were close and even pictured hanging out at the parties with Diddy together. Khloe Kardashian has also made it known that she was close with the man. In an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians from 2014, Khloe Kardashian was taped recounting a Diddy party that she had recently attended, saying that at least half the people in attendance were unclothed. Previously in the episode, Khloe had been speaking to her sister Kourtney about the event. Kourtney had been listing off many famous names who Khloe had been with that weekend, including Justin Bieber, who would have been about 20 money at that time. At the time, this conversation was nothing more than a recount of a wild Hollywood party, and with all the new information the public has learned about what went on behind closed doors in Diddy's life, it's raised some alarm. Even momager Kris Jenner has a seemingly close relationship with the former music artist. Over the years, she has posted many selfies featuring Diddy. It's unclear if Kris Jenner knew about the more disturbing side of the music artist's life, but some news publications like In Touch Weekly have reported that an insider has said the family is in panic mode. Years of them bragging about being close with the rapper are coming back to haunt them as the public starts questioning how well they really knew each other. Was it all a fabricated PR relationship, or kept at just the right distance to have been in the dark about it all, or did they know all along and do nothing? Kris Jenner and Diddy share a notable interview on Kris's self-titled talk show in August of 2013. The man even let it slip that he had a crush on Kris Jenner for a long time. The interview featured plenty of playful flirting between the pair. The pair stayed close over the years. TheList.com reports that Jenner even helped the rapper when it came to promotion for his TV platform, the previously mentioned Revolt TV. Kanye has since publicly left the Kardashian-Jenner family, and some people are wondering if that also affected this situation.
So when Khloe Kardashian posts photos of her family, True and Tatum, the comment section is usually just flooded with well wishes. It's like, oh, what a cute family, how great. However, there was a post she made on September 24th of this year that saw suspicion and anger mixed in amongst the usual comments of like, oh, so cute. Followers appear to be turning on Khloe and her entire family due to their previous association with Puff Daddy. So this Instagram post, pretty cute, right? Like she's dropping off her family at school, and there was a lot of positive comments, like pop singer Chloe Bailey was like, oh my gosh, best mama. But then you gotta look at the ick. So we're just glossing over the sick fact that she and the other Kardashians knew what went on at parties, said one commenter, and then we've got this comment in all caps. I'm not gonna yell it, but you'll get the emphasis. This circus is trying to deflect from them parties they went to. Direct quote, pardon the poor grammar. Look folks, for many decades, anybody who knew anything about Hollywood parties knew that Puff Daddy parties were the place to be. He had his annual Hamptons White Party, he had these blowout birthday bashes, like these lavish soirees were attended by everybody. Jay-Z and Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, Leonardo DiCaprio, the Kardashians, they were like the socialites, so obviously they had to be at the parties. For his 50th birthday, Puff Daddy had the whole Kardashian family there, as well as Pharrell, Kate Beckinsale, Naomi Campbell, and now, obviously, in light of recent events, all these images are going viral on social media because folks want to know what megastars were at these parties and what parties did they go to. And in some images, it looks like everybody's like having a good time. They've all got bottles of some fun liquid. There's a photo of Leonardo DiCaprio having some fun. There's Mariah Carey having a good time. But there's one image that stands out to me. Puff Daddy screaming at one party. He's got Paris Hilton in his arms and Kim K by his side. So obviously that had to have been during the era when Paris had Kim being her assistant. But like, still Kim, we got questions. But let's get back to Khloe for a moment. So there is a video that recently redid numbers on social media because in it we see Khloe Kardashian bragging about partying with a music mogul. This was in an older episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I think it aired in 2014, so about 10 years ago now, and it showed the now 40-year-old catching up with her sister Kourtney as she unpacked a wild party with a bunch of her friends, including, but not limited to, Puff Daddy, Justin Bieber, and French Montana. Later in the episode, Khloe was enjoying a bowling session with a pal, and she mentioned, I haven't been to bed yet. I got on a plane at 5:30. She was still talking about the party, going into details that I can't talk about, but like, once again, what's going on? Looks like the friendship was long lasting because 2 years later, so 2016, Khloe invited Puff Daddy to appear on her Cocktails with Khloe series, where she hailed him as a hardworking yet eclectic person, saying, well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff. She's like, we've been known to party with you a few times. Obviously, the we was the family, because she turned to her sister Kourtney, who was also in this episode, and she's like, yeah, you were just at Puffy's birthday. And she's like, yeah, I forgot about that. That was an epic night too. Every night. She's like, yeah, that was fun because like all the girls ditched me, so it was like me and the boys. It was me, Kanye, Carey, T, and we were all just hanging out and it was fun. I loved it. So once again, the sisters are heaping praise on Puff Daddy. Khloe added, like, I don't know how you have all the energy, but that's who you are and that's why people are so drawn to you, because you're so eclectic. No matter what, no matter how much you work, you don't sleep, you don't do anything, and that's just you. And this friendship is still going strong. We're gonna go down the timeline, folks. 2019, Khloe's still posting pictures of Puff Daddy. So that's only, carry the one, 5 years ago, folks. And she could be seen posing with the now disgraced producer Also, we've got Kim and Kylie. These photos were to commemorate Puffy's celebrity-packed 50th birthday party that I mentioned earlier. So sure, if we're gonna go throughout the family tree, I know a lot of outlets have claimed that Kim was among those who unfollowed Puff Daddy on Instagram, but nobody in the family has really spoken publicly about the speculation. So here's the thing. Khloe has literally said so many times that there's nothing like a Puffy party, and like, girl, what were these parties? Tell me more. Okay, we do have to say that nobody in the famous family has been linked to any of the allegations that Puffy is facing, but they haven't spoken out following his arrest. Not to say like, hey, we weren't at this, hey, that was bad. They've been fawning over him publicly for how many years now, folks? Like a decade, if not more. I know Kris Jenner's partner, Corey Gamble, had ties to the rapper. So like, once again, why are they not speaking out? Well, apparently they might be dreading the prospect of testifying at his trial. According to an insider, they're actually in panic mode. Like the whole family's like, oh my gosh, all these years they've been bragging about partying with them, and obviously everybody's assuming and wondering, were they involved in the freak-offs? Now, if you don't know, those are the carefully organized events that involved activities with professional workers. So according to sources, the whole family was like, yeah, no, we're not involved. We just can't say anything, because they had no idea the sorts of twisted things that he was up to after hours. But yet, the girls were talking about partying with him to 5:30 a.m., and we all know the timeline of what party happened when. Now, sure, sources have said that yes, Puffy had plenty of glamorous parties over the years that weren't freak-offs, at least not until the early morning hours when the majority of people had left. Well, once again, folks, early morning hours, we're going back to leaving the party at 5:30. That screams early morning to me. How about you? Going back to Corey for a moment, he shared a post in a couple of years ago honoring the family, honoring one of Puff Daddy's partners. So like, a lot of folks think that Corey must have had some knowledge of what was going on at these parties, being so close to Puffy and his partner, which like, he's totally denying. Yes, sure, this is all very ugly and very embarrassing, and Kris, being the absolute ultimate PR person, is scrambling to distance themselves from everything and distract everybody. But it's kind of impossible when you've been bragging about it for so long. So let's talk about a lot of Puffy's parties for a moment. Let's go back to 1999. Puffy was talking about his white holidays, and it's kind of hit the news for a couple of reasons you're gonna find out in a moment. He said in 1999, and I quote, "They don't want me to party anymore, but we're not gonna stop. We will continue to have fun, to unite people from all walks of life." And he made a prediction, folks. He said, "You will hear about my holidays. They're going to shut them down. Maybe they're going to arrest me. They're going to do all kinds of crazy things just because we want to have a good time." He said, and I quote, "Whenever you bring a different element into people's environment, things that broaden people's horizons, people get intimidated. It's a lot of people out there that feel intimidated by it." Now, I gotta ask, if you were predicting this in 1999, what were you doing back then? How did you know that this was gonna go sour? He's also joked publicly about his tactics for keeping women from ditching his get-togethers. He did this back in 2002 on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, because Conan asked, like, how do you throw a great party? And he said, woman. Beautiful woman, of course. Beautiful men for the ladies, of course. You need some water. I don't know if guys have noticed this, but a lot of ladies drink water at the parties, so if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave. Gotta keep them there. Need locks on the door. Now, when Conan O'Brien was like, that sounds kinda dangerous, Diddy tried laughing that off, and it's like, no, that actually sounds like a bit of a safety concern. Like, I wouldn't want to be locked at a party. So sure, as allegations are surfacing and we're going through all these details about all the heinous things, it might be a while before we get the details that we want. Turns out a lot of attendees were forced to sign NDAs, so whoops. Now, it is a very standard NDA. It's just like, okay, you can't share information related to Puff Daddy, any partners, any family members, friends, business associates. Can't take any photos, you can't film anything, can't record anything without Puff Daddy's consent or, whatnot. You also can't share anything to social media, you can't post photos or videos. So sure, it makes sense why certain things aren't getting out, but then, I don't know. Oh, and also you can't give interviews, write books, or discuss anything. So I guess that's why we're not getting the information that we need, but at the same time, come on, folks.
The Kardashians are linked more to Diddy than you think, as Kim Kardashian has been spotted at some of Diddy's infamous white parties. Everyone knows that the Kardashians are one of the most powerful families out there, but it seems like Kris Jenner wasn't able to wipe this photo of her daughter, Kim, at one of Diddy's white parties off the internet fast enough. Now, photos have surfaced of Kim at one of Diddy's white parties in 2006. Now, this was before her tape with her ex Ray J was leaked, and it was a year before her family started filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So, how was she able to get into this exclusive party? That has to do with Paris Hilton. In 2006, Kim began working as a stylist for Paris Hilton as they were childhood friends. Now at the time, Kim had a closet organizing business and Paris was one of her clients. Now Kim appeared in several episodes of the reality series The Simple Life and was frequently photographed with Paris going to events and parties, aka the Diddy party. And since Paris was a young socialite, she was able to attend the most lavish and exclusive parties, and this included Diddy's. So with her being as close as she was with Kim, she got to tag along too. I mean, in 2008, Paris even spoke out about attending Diddy's first ever party in 1998, saying it was iconic and everyone was there. So it appears that Paris may have been the one who introduced Diddy to Kim. And how convenient is it that a year after she met Diddy, she rose to fame after her tape was leaked with Ray J, who was friends with Diddy. Yes, Kim's ex was very good friends with Diddy. Now Ray J has actually spoken out about Diddy in the past couple of months and said that a lot of people in the industry had been unaware of anything relating to the serious allegations made against Diddy. Ray J explained, "We've never seen the stuff that's being said and the stuff people are finding out. Like, I've never been in the rooms that people are talking about, and I never knew they existed." And a lot of people in the industry can agree with me on that sense. Like, you all wanted to go and have a good time at a Diddy party. He then proceeded to say that guests wanted to have a good time, be inspired, and work hard the following day because of the good vibes they'd enjoyed. According to Ray J, people are still trying to digest and understand everything, and while the allegations weren't factual yet, they have still proven to be hurtful and confusing for some. Now, shortly before Diddy's mansions were raided earlier this year, Kim actually unfollowed Diddy on social media, as did a number of other stars. Now, did Kim know what was coming? I mean, Kim and her sisters were in the same social circles as Diddy, and the siblings have often spoken of the fun times they had with Diddy, so was Kim aware? Well, it appears that she and her team are trying to quiet any speculation. A user recently posted a video on X, aka Twitter, claiming that Kim was involved in Diddy's infamous tapes and was under an FBI investigation. A user of the social networking site X shared a post with images of a cease and desist order from Kim's lawyer, Christina Davis. The user received the order in an email after they posted claiming Kim was under FBI investigation for being involved in Diddy's infamous videos. Now, the user accused the billionaire of blackmail and taking advantage of men and being possibly embroiled with the notorious tapes. Now the post read, "Kim Kardashian's lawyer hit me with a cease and desist after I posted a video where someone suggested she might be under FBI investigation for blackmail, mistreating men, and possibly being involved with the infamous Diddy tapes." However, the user stated that such orders are nothing and will continue to speak out on the matter. The caption added, "Their threats and intimidation are pointless. Nothing can stop what's about to unfold. Let me be clear, if I suddenly go silent, that's not my decision." The caption concluded with, "I've now become a target of Balenciaga's most powerful partner." Now, the alleged order from Kim's lawyer stated, "I'm an attorney for Kim Kardashian and right to demand that you immediately cease and desist from publishing false and defamatory statements on the X account at Shadow of Ezra about my client." It further referred to the post shared by the user earlier, due to which the order was being sent to them. It further read, "Your statements claiming Miss Kardashian has committed crimes or is involved or being investigated for crimes are categorically false and illegal." It also demanded the removal of said video, accusing Kim to be removed immediately, else Miss Kardashian will pursue legal action for your defamatory statements. Now, some Twitter users are questioning whether the letter is real or not, but all I know is that Kim, and more importantly her mother, wouldn't want her connected in any way with Diddy. I mean, the Kardashians are always wrapped up in their own scandals, and if Kim were connected to him like the Twitter user claims, she could kiss being a lawyer goodbye, as it is just not a good look. While Kim is being tied to Diddy, her ex-husband Kanye West has been praised by people online, as an interview from 2022, the rapper warning people about Diddy. In an interview for Drink Champs, Kanye called out celebrities for allegedly working with law enforcement to turn on other celebrities so they could avoid prison. Now, one of the celebs he called out by name was Diddy. Kanye said that Diddy is making deals to keep himself out of trouble. "The reason why you gotta talk is because you did a deal, you effing fed. that's why you've got to come at me, because part of the deal for you to be able to do all that and get out of jail is that you promise that you're gonna pull my card, he said. Now, a lot of people didn't take this too seriously at the time, as 2022 Kanye was not, well, to say the least. But Diddy eventually was arrested though, so if he was working with law enforcement like Kanye claimed, whatever deal he had was broken. Now this isn't all though, as that same year, Kanye posted texts between the two of them. One included Kanye saying, "F you, you fed." It seems like Kanye was suspicious of Diddy the whole time, and hey, maybe we should have listened to him. Then there's Kris Jenner. Now old selfies of Kris and Diddy are resurfacing. Diddy had a close bond with Kris, and once admitted while appearing on her talk show in 2013 that he had a long-time crush on the matriarch. He joked to Kris, "Once you go black, you never go back," as Kris laughed, "Is he flirting with me again?" Then they worked together again in 2013 when she helped him launch his own platform, Revolt TV, and they were spotted hanging out at the Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony honoring producer and singer Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. Now, it's also been found that Corey Gamble, Kris's longtime boyfriend, has something to do with all this Diddy stuff. An insider said that Corey was aware of Diddy's controversial engagements. A lot of people believe that Corey must have had some knowledge of what was going on, claimed a source. But the insider also noted that Corey totally denies these allegations, which, I mean, of course he would. Now, fans of the Kardashians have always found Corey to be somewhat creepy, and if it turns out that he is connected to all the Diddy stuff, well then that would be bad. In a series of now deleted 2022 social messages, Kanye West also dissed Corey for his connection to Diddy and Justin Bieber. "I think he's a nice person, not a great person, a nice person who used to be around Puffy's family, then got around Justin Bieber." Now all of this coming out is not a good look for the Kardashian family. However, it's been said that Kris has already started to plan her family's rescue in case things get dirty for her daughters. It's all very ugly and very embarrassing, and Kris is scrambling to distance them from all this and distract everyone, but that's going to be impossible if they get called in to testify, a source said. Another source said, "All these years that they bragged about partying with Diddy have of course got everyone assuming that they were somehow involved in these depraved freak-offs," the source stated. They then asserted that the family had no idea of the sorts of twisted things he was up to after hours. Now chatting to In Touch magazine, the insider divulged, Diddy had plenty of glamorous parties over the years that weren't freak-offs, at least not until the early morning hours when the majority of people had left. Now they suggested that Kris is presently scrambling to distance them from all of this.
Newly resurfaced photos show Leonardo DiCaprio laughing and lighting one up at a puffy party at his East Hamptons house back in 1998. Now, according to insiders, the Hollywood star has not spoken to Puffy for years and has maintained distance from him following all of these, everything's that's going on that we can't talk about. But we gotta talk about it. So these white parties were a huge deal back in the day. They were at this East Hampton home, and this is where the biggest celebrities in the world, they would swarm it. It would be an annual bash. You would take your photo here, you'd be paparazzi'd here. It was a big one. There's one photo from the white party in the year 2000 that shows a younger Leonardo DiCaprio clad in a white t-shirt and shorts, hanging out with Puffy and a number of other people, and they're holding a bottle of something fun. So once upon a time, somebody asked Puffy, "Hey, who's the number one person you want to invite to the white party?" And he didn't even flinch, he didn't even pause, he said, "Leonardo DiCaprio," which, interesting that he didn't say any of his other besties like Ashton Kutcher. Now the last time these two were seen together was in 2019, but they were also seen together in 2004 during the Democratic National Convention, but I think the last time on record was the 50th birthday party in 2019. Now a source close to Leonardo DiCaprio claims he's got nothing to do with the current case, he never attended a freak-off, he hasn't even been in contact with the disgraced rapper for years. Okay, 5 years, sure, that could work. The source said, Leonardo DiCaprio has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. He just went to a couple of parties in the early 2000s just like everybody else. These weren't freak-offs. These were the big house parties. Leonardo was at the start of his career, but he's moved way past his partying. He has nothing to do with any of that world. So for anybody to assume that he's gonna get roped into anything based off of a couple of grainy photos that are more than 20 years old is ridiculous. Leonardo DiCaprio is currently focusing on his career and his relationships, and is not thinking at all about any of this. Okay, but that last photo was from 2019. Yes, it was grainy, but it's not 20 years old, my friends. It is 4 to 5 years old, depending on how you do your math. So sure, as allegations continue to hit the news day after day after day after day about these parties, and we continue to analyze who went to what party, when, where, why, and we pick apart the photos and we face match everybody, it might be a hot minute before any celebrity says anything. Turns out they all signed a handy little NDA. Now NDAs are kind of a standard practice in Hollywood, in any industry that has secrets. And long story short, this one says if you went to a party, you can't say anything. You can't talk about Puffy, you can't talk about his partners, can't talk about his family, his friends, and his business associates. You also were not allowed to take a photo, film something. You could not record Puffy or anybody around him without written consent. You also couldn't just post on Insta or Twitter or Facebook. They listed off the social media stuff by name. Nothing about the bad boy founder without his explicit permission. You're not allowed to give an interview, which is why nobody's told a news outlet anything on the record other than through an anonymous source. You can't read a book. You can't discuss anything about a party. So really it's a boilerplate NDA that's going to cover anything that could get Puffy into trouble. Now don't worry, the NDA does expire. It's going to be the duration of Puffy's life plus 20 years or 70 years, whichever's longer unless the courts get to it first. Long story short, it's boilerplate, it's basic, you can't say anything. But it has not kept the authorities out of everything. I know, let's see, what happened? Oh right, the city of Miami was like, hey, we gave you an honorary key in 2015 after Revolt Music did a conference, but now that we've seen the video footage that we've all seen that came out this year, we want that back. I know New York City was also like, hey, we want our key back. Oh, and Miami Beach used to have a Puffy Day. It occurred on, I believe, October 13th. Yeah, I don't think that's ever happening again. So, if we're looking at the ties between Puffy and Leonardo DiCaprio, which is why you're here today, let's look at all the red flags around Leonardo. Because in those early years of his fame, once again, late 90s, early 2000s, the Titanic era, he was candid. He was, chatty. He was charming. He was precocious. He talked about wanting to have a family. He talked about wanting to get married. He said that Pauly Shore taught him all about having fun and getting with girls, which in retrospect, red flag time. But nowadays, when Leonardo DiCaprio does press, he just tells the same stories that he tells all the time, and he reveals almost nothing about his life. Like the time he was flying and an engine on a plane failed. Funny story, but it doesn't tell us a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I respect his right to privacy, but the internet has filled the resulting void with caricatures. They're like, oh yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, he wears the average bro uniform of t-shirts, cargo shorts, baseball caps, and sunglasses, when he's not, acting. They portray him as this aging Lothario who dumps his girlfriends the minute they turn 25. And when he, or more likely his social media team, posts anything on Instagram, the comments are like, hey, how old's this? How old's that? He mostly just posts about endangered frogs, but people want to know how old the frog is. That's how much this guy's reputation revolves around his dating life. Once again, Leonardo has a history of dating women much younger than him. Apparently, I don't know, the cutoff for his girlfriends is 25, so I'm already too old. Whoopsies. There's one Reddit user, Trust's little brother, posted a very interesting graphic. And the graphic proves none of Leo's girlfriends have dated him beyond the age of 25. And yes, this graphic is a little outdated. It's from 2019. You remember why I've said that year today. But it was updated this year. And as you can see in the graphic, all his girlfriends, from Blake Lively to Camilla, have been under 25. And while there's nothing new about older men dating younger women, especially in Hollywood, Leo's preference for relatively newer figures in the modeling or movie industry who have just started their careers seems a little strange. Is it red flag or mere coincidence? Look, we've all been there, we've been in a relationship with somebody who has an interesting dating background, and if it wasn't you, then it was likely a friend of yours where you're like, oh boy, oh dear, they're gonna do it again. So you gotta ask the question, what do you do if literally everybody thinks your partner screams trouble? Men in powerful positions have been known to date impressionable women for their own selfish needs. These women often see them as celebrities they've, watched over the years, they've fawned over. Even the smallest gesture of attention, let alone dating, can make a heart flutter. So when a famous older guy approaches you and you see a promising love affair coupled with a glamorous career, what's not to love? And sadly, a lot of women are so enamored by this illusion that they end up in a situation of interesting affairs. Now, this is not to be confused with a healthy age gap relationship where both partners are together for something more than mutual professional benefit. But you gotta notice that when folks like Leonardo DiCaprio date younger women, they have a lot of folks going, woohoo-hoo! They support it. The criticism is mostly in the form of memes and jokes, like I said today. The number of people seeing it as a red flag, kind of like me, is a far lesser number than those who raise their arms in protest when, let's say a woman dates somebody younger. So when Priyanka Chopra married Nick Jonas, a lot of folks criticized that 10-year age gap. There was an article that called her like a global scam artist. Let's see, who else? Oh, once upon a time, J-Lo. She was heavily criticized for her relationship with Casper Smart. He was, I think, 18 years younger than her when they dated. But Madonna takes the cake. She's dated men almost 30 years younger than her. She's talked about her dating preferences in an interview, saying, "I've created a very unconventional life. I have lovers who are younger than me, and that makes people uncomfortable. I feel like I do make people really uncomfortable." But that's always been Madonna's gig. She wants to make us, exist. But, yeah, when you look at Leonardo's dating history, sure, capping it at 25-year-olds might be a coincidence, but his insistence on dating women significantly younger than him seems like a red flag that we should talk about more.
It might be surprising to learn that Mariah Carey and Sean Diddy Combs seem to go way back all the way to the 90s. They were spotted and pictured together so much, people thought they were dating. There were even whispers that the pair had gotten married. That was a lie, of course, and it turned out the two never actually dated either, they were just really good friends. The reason people were so sure there was something between the music artists was because Carey had publicly supported Diddy over her husband at the time. But that was because her husband was making some out-of-pocket, racially charged remarks about the rapper. So it's unclear if she was more looking to defend Diddy or if she would have just brought this same fierceness if her husband had said his piece about any other famous artists of color. There is no denying that the two were friendly though. Diddy, known as Puffy at the time, was a collaborator on Carey's 1997 album Butterfly. When Carey ultimately did separate from her husband, people and gossip sites were quick to insinuate that she left him for Diddy or that her and Diddy were in a secret relationship, but that has not been proven true at all. Many years down the line, in the modern day, the pair do not appear to be as close as they once were, which is probably a good thing. Now that that's been firmly established, that Combs and Carey never even so much as dated, we can acknowledge that wedding dress moment. It sure didn't help rumors at the time, but we all know how Carey is never one to shy away from a spectacle, and she did look really nice in the dress. The dress was a Vera Wang moment, and that had seemingly light green tulle shawl. She also wore a tiara and a variety of glittering jewelry to the event, so truly go big or go home. Was she poking fun at the marriage rumors? Who knows? Carey was pictured later in the evening in a different dress and jewelry, still stunning, this one black with a large diamond necklace. While Carey was a standout in terms of attire, there were other big names present too. Carey was pictured dancing with Jay-Z and chatting with Paris Hilton. Of course, there were plenty of other famous faces spotted throughout the night. Roger Friedman of Roger Friedman's Showbiz411.com appeared to be present at the event and gave a detailed recount of the night's activities. And some of them seem more worrying now that we know everything we do about the rapper. A November 6th article from the celebrity reporting page revealed that the party was attended by more than 1,500 people over the course of the evening. Where better to host a celebrity-filled group of that size than a Manhattan ballroom? It also explains why all the guests initially showed up dressed to the nines and later changed so they could tear up the dance floor. Some other moments from the evening referenced in the article include screens around the room that apparently played videos from throughout Diddy's life, a bunch of violinists playing for guests as they entered, ice sculptures and rose sculptures made to depict Diddy's logo, and a big cardboard birthday cake that had dancers pop out and serenade the rapper with "Hey Big Spender." Photos from inside the event that evening don't show any of these things happening, but it's not hard to imagine it did, considering lavish parties were Diddy's other main claim to fame in the early 2000s. What you can see from pictures are guests smiling away as they tore up that dance floor, so all in all it seems like it was a pretty normal party and nothing like the disturbing freak-offs that Diddy was also known for hosting. For anyone who is not aware of what I am referring to when I say that, Diddy is currently being accused of acting inappropriately towards multiple people and orchestrating what were deemed freak-offs. Per an article from BBC, prosecutors described the events as elaborate and produced in inappropriate action performances. Highly organized required that hotel suites were booked, substances were acquired, and even IV fluids were administered so the participants could recover from what could occasionally be days-long activities. Prosecutors also claimed that Diddy would videotape those events and use that footage to encourage participants to keep quiet. Diddy's legal representation continues to insist that the parties involved in these events all wanted to be there. To bring things back to that November 2004 birthday party, while it doesn't appear to have dissolved into a Diddy freak-off, surprises from later in the evening seem way worse now than they did at the time. According to the account from Roger Friedman's article, the room was lined with raised levels with curtains at the back, so if guests didn't want to be on the dance floor, they could just watch it from above. Not that weird. The weird part came later. As the night went on, the curtains were drawn back to reveal beds, booths, and water-filled porcelain bathtubs. The article also states that screens started displaying the text King Diddy. The booths would be standard for party seating, but the beds and bathtubs? Why? We don't need that. Now that the public is aware of Diddy's less than savory activities behind closed doors, it makes the inclusions of the bed seem so much worse. The article goes on to confirm that in addition to the famous individuals at the party, it was also attended by performers like acrobats, but also go-go dancers and those in other similar lines of work. The article does not touch on if the bathtubs or beds were used for anything other than a break from tearing up that dance floor. The account of the evening closes out with a comment about how the party continued well into the early morning. It's unclear if any of the previously mentioned big names were still in attendance at that time. There have been instances in the past where a Diddy party such as this one eventually dissolved into a freak-off. A year after this bash, Diddy hosted an after-party for the 2005 VMAs. It was attended by people like Paris Hilton, Eva Longoria, and more. According to the US Sun, as the party switched from a nightclub to Diddy's mansion in the early morning, the famous names had long departed the event, and while in his home, the festivities had turned into a freak-off. Footage from the later half of the party allegedly shows Diddy wearing the same outfit he had been in the VMA's party pics, which is how the two events were tied together. However, there have also been parties the disgraced rapper has hosted that simply contained unsavory elements, but didn't necessarily turn into a night of debauchery. Photos from another event from 2004 have recently resurfaced online, and they have sparked their own kind of controversy. Apparently, the Japanese practice of consuming food off an unclothed woman's body was being incorporated into this evening. Photos from the evening show Diddy leaning over the uncovered, except for a leaf on her lower half, woman while eating a chocolate strawberry. The woman on the table is surrounded by candles, leaves, grapes, and more chocolate-covered strawberries. It's unclear if other guests at the event also engaged in this specific aspect of the party or just kept their distance. But the most famous type of party that Sean Diddy Combs hosted was his white party. Over the years, this party was attended by everyone from Leonardo DiCaprio to Kim Kardashian to Mariah Carey. There was a strict dress code in which everyone had to wear white. The first party was hosted on a Labor Day, so the dress code made sense, but later party dates didn't always share this holiday. Diddy actually explained in a 2006 interview with Oprah why he kept the all-white theme attire. He said, "I wanted to strip away everyone's image and put us all in the same color and on the same level." It's no wonder he wanted everyone on the same plane, considering the levels of fame severely varied. Putting everyone on that same level would also help Diddy build his brand. If you're visibly on the same level as the most famous people in the world, you've won half the battle. Many people have said that Diddy was obsessed with his image and fame, which aligns with the white party theme. A professor from the University of Virginia explained the rise of Diddy, saying that many rappers, like Diddy, hold symbolic value for the public. It's something he called the Diddy phenomenon. He further explained that as artists grow, they hold an influence over culture that makes people want to be near them. That seems to explain how Diddy became such a major player in the Hollywood party scene in particular. Diddy's white parties ended around 2009 when the rapper just stopped spending so much time in the areas where he used to throw them.